Hey everybody, it's Miriam Kelly here on this warm, muggy day in Florida. And I just wanted to add something to the previous videos of my journey in my first year of being a licensed realtor. So I'm sure that everyone's wondering, how's that working considering everything that's been going on? It's been quite the experience for so many people. And my thoughts and prayers go out to those who have been affected, financially, emotionally, and they've had friends or family members who have been affected by this. So I am just a month shy from passing my exam and just a couple months shy of being a fully licensed realtor in the state of Florida. So I just wanted to share a few things that I've learned so far. Obviously, I shared some videos at the very beginning about the expenses and what to sort of expect and, the commitment that it takes. So a few things that I've experienced, and that maybe by sharing that with you, it can help you, or maybe you can give me some insight if you've been in the profession for a lot longer than me. But it's been quite the experience. I didn't come into it completely without having any knowledge of the industry, because I was a mortgage broker for a few years back in 2005, I think, to like 2008. I didn't renew my license. I always had an interest in the real estate profession, and just it's just something I've always wanted to do. So I finally was an point in my life that I could commit the time and take the leap. So with that being said, one of the things that I wanted to share, number one, especially with this crisis, so it was a little like unnerving, because here I was, I think maybe 6 months, or a little bit shy of 6 months. I'm still learning so many things. I'm still trying to get my footing, I guess, per se, but I'm probably harder on myself than maybe other people would be. And so I believe our state shut down in March. Fortunately for me, I had already had some things in the pipeline that I was working on. I was still working on my sphere, as well as some referrals and just some leads. So I started working with a company that does have some lead generation. So they weren't great leads, but I will say that it gave me a lot of experience in a short period of time. So obviously there was a lot of talking to people, a lot of leads that just weren't going to go anywhere, people that didn't qualify, just couldn't get, or financing for very small amount, they had very small budgets, that type of thing. So with that being said, I was able to really take all of those leads, and it allowed me to become comfortable and gain some experience on how to deal with buyers. And then on the backside, I was working on my own and prospecting for buyers and sellers. So I put a lot of work in a short period of time. So one of the things that I decided when this started to happen, because first I was like, oh my gosh, of course everyone's like, how can this be happening? It's like my first year. What's going to happen to the economy? I was, besides the personal concerns of, my health and my family's health and stuff. But I had about a week of just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I had a couple things in the pipeline again, but then I'm thinking, all right, no one's going to be selling their houses. No one's going to want to be buying houses. They're going to stop giving out. Uh-oh. Sorry. That's what happens when it's live. So I didn't know, what direction to go in. So one of the things that I did right away, and I shared that in a previous video, I don't really want to divert from this topic, because I'll go off on a tangent, was I made the decision that I'm in this for the long haul. I'm in this for the long game, and no matter what was going to happen outside of what I could control this. So that was the number one thing that I did. And I also wanted to share, I feel like you have to be patient. This is not to be successful, especially your first year, because you're still learning, and there's so much information out there, and there are so many programs, and you can watch videos, and they have all these courses that you can take. One of the things that I learned that I feel that's helped me is I knew that I had to be patient. And people that I've been involved with that have been in this industry for a really long time helped me with that. And they're like, look, you know what? It's your first year is going to be, a challenge, and you may not get things right away, and it's going to take a while. But if you're patient and you keep plugging at it and you keep working at it, and getting better at what you do, it's going to pay off. So that was one of the things. So my first thing was, number one was to be determined and be in it for the long game. Make the commitment to be in it for the long game. So that helped me. So that was like, okay, blinders, I'm moving forward no matter what's going on. Okay, so the second thing that I feel that helped me was collaboration. So I collaborated with other agents. I worked, my first brokerage that I worked in or hung my license had a mentoring program, and all of the agents, emerging agents, had to go in and do these classes, and we went in every week, and and then sometimes we would go in and sort of almost have like a think tank, or we have somebody would come in and they were really great with FSBOs, and we do cold calling together, and so we build camaraderie, and a lot of those agents left that's another story, left that company, and they went to another one. I chose to go in a different direction and do more of a remote type situation, just because it fit my lifestyle and what I'm accustomed to, because I'm used to working for myself. I've been doing this in another profession for, working for myself. So I collaborated. So when all of this started going on in just the first year, so whenever I needed, I had a question, or I wasn't sure, or, we just, even though we weren't working for the same company, we're in the same thing, so it's just like, it's like being in the same family and being cousins, or being second cousins. You're related, you may not be kin, like a sister or brother, but you are related in that sense. So this profession, this industry, whatever, has made us be like this group, this family. And one of the things I find, most of the people that I've become in contact with as far as in this profession have been pretty good about that. I will say that not all of them. Some of them, it's like a dog eat dog world. They won't give you any information, but with that being said, I was very fortunate that the people that I got to meet early on were have become my real estate friends. And they're, even though, like I said, they work for another company, we still do open houses together. We do chat rooms together. We do Zoom meetings together, and we help each other out. So I think that's been great. So that really helped me. So collaboration is really important. So hopefully you can get in, not just within the brokerage that you decide to to work in, but even outside of that. If you know people that are in the profession and they've been in it for a really long time, see if they can give you some insight, or don't be scared to ask, because I think we can help each other, and we all learn from one another. And I've been very fortunate with that. So collaboration is very important. Another thing that seemed to help was don't be so hard on yourself. So I remember the first listing that I got. I was so excited. My very first one, like a month into it. And, they did the whole listing presentation, everything. Well, this woman ghosted me. So when I say ghosted me, she basically disappeared. I was like, hey, I'm coming over. When's a good time to come over? I need to put the sign up, and I want to schedule an open house. I didn't hear from her for like a month. I didn't know what happened. Finally, she reached out. She's like, well, I've got this going on, but I still want to sell, blah, blah, blah. This went on for probably about 3 months, and it was a little discouraging. It was my first one. So, with every deal that I've had, there's been something. And I talked to other people, again, who've been in the business. They're like, look, it happens. I had one closing that I had one under contract that we almost lost the deal several times for different reasons, but several times. Nothing that I was doing, but it was on the buyer side of listing that I had. It was on the buyer side. But with that being said, finally got through it. And with each experience, it's made me more confident. And, and obviously I'm learning something new every day, so one of the things is don't be hard on yourself. You're going to make a mistake. You probably forget, to put something in the MOS. And again, I'm doing this pretty much myself. My company does not have a back office or a platform, or a compliance department or any of that, or transaction coordinator. I'm doing it all myself. And with every one of my, contracts or my deals, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting more structured. Now, with that being said, it might sound easier said than done because I do have a background in management. So that does help me a little bit. But there are so many different programs out there. I'm not going to, for me, this worked working for myself. But if I did not have any experience at all in this business, I probably would have went to another company just to have that support. I do have a lead that I can call and ask questions if I need something, but for the most part, managing and maintaining my CRM and my prospects and and getting working my leads and all of that, that's all on me. So and I think eventually, when you're in it for a long time, or when you get experience, if this is something that you're going to do full time, that's probably what's going to happen. So that was the third thing, is just don't be so hard on yourself. It's a lot. I will say it's very rewarding because when you finally find that house for that buyer, I closed on a deal that the person wanted to buy a house. They didn't qualify, especially with what's going on right now. And I spoke to them. I got them to speak to a lender, and they're like, this is what you need to do, and decided, okay, we need to rent. They relocated from South Florida in the whole middle of the whole COVID-19 crisis. They had been staying in a hotel because they couldn't, they couldn't find a rental, or they were trying to buy a house, whatever. Make a long story short, I helped him find a lease, helped him with the whole application process, the approval process, and he has a 1 year, or not even 6 month, a 6 month plan of buying the house. So he was so grateful for everything I did. So it makes it rewarding, because it was, again, not being hard on myself and saying, oh my gosh, I'm like running around. This is just a lease. And once you get into this profession, you'll know that a lot of times you don't make that much money on leases. Sometimes it's just referrals or just a small percentage. But for me, I felt like I was working on a long-term prospect. And so that's why I did it. And I'm glad that I did, because he was so grateful that, he's like, look, listen, I got my 6 month plan. I'm working on this, and, definitely, I'm going to buy something from you. So I'm real happy. So I feel like I gained a lifetime, client. So that makes me feel good. And I think the last thing that I wanted to share is that it's a wonderful profession to be in, and it's really hard work. For me, it is. Anyone tells you that it's not, it's really hard work. But if you are determined, dedicated, committed, if you're open to networking and collaborating with other people, and if you are excited about learning something new every day and change doesn't drive you crazy, then you're going to be fine. So I'm excited because, like I said, I'm 1 month shy of a year of having, passed the exam, and then just a few months shy of being a year of being completely licensed. And I will tell you, I am just a few closings shy of what my goal was for my first year. So I've actually exceeded what I thought I was going to do. So I still have some things in the pipeline. I'm working on some new leads, and, they've opened up the state of Florida. A little disclosure, I'm still doing the CDC guidelines, and, they're opening up the state of Florida, finally. So I'm out there, I'm kicking it, I'm talking to people, I'm engaging, I'm just, I'm working on my presentation. And so I'm excited. So anyways, with that being said, good luck to those of you who are going to, follow your dream and do this. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. If you have any comments, please put them down below. I would love to hear from you guys. And guess what? I'll be back.